Hello, everybody, and welcome to Virtual Bourbon. My name is Steve Akley, and we have a fun event tonight. This one, we are sharing my favorites, the favorite whiskeys that I've enjoyed over the last couple of years. And it is going to be a fun evening going through those and tasting them and seeing if you feel the same way about them that I do. So, and here's going to be our lineup. This is the order that will go. And don't worry, I'll tell each of, if you miss the order as we go through it, don't worry, we'll make sure that everything's announced as we start this. But you may want to put them in this order. The first one we're going to be trying is the Leopold Brothers, that famous 3-chamber rye. This one was one that I was tracking for years, actually. Excited about this when they got that still and following along the journey. And as it was aging, waiting impatiently, even went out to the distillery, toured it with Todd Leopold himself. And I thought maybe he'd be like, hey, you guys want to just try some of this? It's aging, but no, that didn't happen though. That was the dream, but that didn't happen. So Royce Neely and I were out there, but we did get to see the still and see what it was all about, which was very cool. And then I was just had to wait for the whiskey like everyone else. And I'll tell you what, it lived up to my expectations. So look forward to sharing it with you. If you haven't tried it, I think you're in for a treat. Pretty special offering there. Next up is going to be Neely Family Distillery. And of course, they've been winning a bunch of awards recently. They won, I think it's noted on the label, Best Cask Strength at the New Orleans Bourbon Festival. They also ended up winning a double gold for their absinthe and their rye whiskey at San Francisco, and won 2 golds for 2 different offerings at San Francisco. We've got one of the San Francisco offerings. So even though the label talks about New Orleans, we didn't have that one because that was actually submitted a couple of years ago. That festival had been canceled a couple of years. They held the whiskey that was sent in. Neely's didn't keep that one around that whole time, so they didn't have that available, but they still had some of the San Francisco gold winning, and I thought that's pretty cool. So give us some of that, and that's what we're going to be sampling tonight when we get to the Neely one. Next up, we've got Hard Truth Distilling. We've got their Sweet Mash Rye, pretty cool product here. Great story. And as a bonus tonight, Bryan Smith, who was very interested in this event, is attending with us. He's feeling a little bit under the weather, so hopefully he'll be able to stay on and stick with us and tell us about that. And we'll say hello right to him right now real quick. Hey, Bryan, how's it going, man?
Hey, Steve. I'm doing good. I followed the regimen that I told you I was going to do to make it
Okay.
for this.
Okay. He dosed himself
Doubled
up.
Two Alka-Seltzers and 4 Red Bull. I'm good to go, man.
Okay, he's good to go. I feel like he's going to make it through the whole thing, so that'll be good. And then we've got one from Stumpy Spirits. I don't know if those of you that are out of town here, and I live in the St. Louis area, so and Stumpy's is actually in Illinois, but right across the river. Actually, the closest distillery to my house, living in St. Louis. Just jump on the JB Bridge and head across, and right across the river there is Stumpy Spirits, and they do some really cool stuff. Great story. I'd encourage you to learn more about them. They've recently installed a reclaimed over 100-year-old still, which is probably one of the greatest stories in bourbon. They bought it for scrap, found it over in Belgium on the internet. I think it's taken a huge chance just to buy something, no instructions or anything like that. They just get 2 shipping containers full of all these copper parts and accessories, and take that thing and put it back together. So Adam's obviously an engineer. It really shows when you see what he did with that. So that's really a cool thing. And then last but not least, our friends at Old 55, they do something called sweet corn bourbon. And they they're in the grain business, which allows them to utilize these great grains, and they create this bourbon that is really just wonderful. And they have like a 600-gallon still, and they only want, for this product, they do crazy cuts. They, when you talk about heads and tails, you hear about that, and then hearts. Typically, people will tell you, well, we make our bourbon with the hearts. So the heads is the stuff that tastes funky at the beginning. The tails is the stuff that tastes funky at the end. And the middle is the good stuff. And they do a hearts of the hearts cut. They literally cut it so short that they'll get out of the 600 gallons still like an 8-gallon run or 13 gallons. They don't get much out of there, but they're really taking the best of the best in terms of the whiskey, because they want to create this crazy product. And you think, why would anybody do that? And they're like, we get that. Why would anyone do that? And the reason why we do it is because we are in the grain business, and we can get this grain for a lower cost than anyone else, and we can do this. We do it because we can, and we know no one else can do it as well. So it's going to be a really interesting one for you. It comes out of cask strength, and that'll be the last one that we're trying today. So that's going to be the plan. Let's go ahead and pour the first one, and then we'll talk a little bit about how this works. So I always like to let them sit out for a little bit. I should have done that right away, but that's okay. We'll pour the Leopold Brothers. It's again the one we're starting with. So how we do these, because we do have some folks that aren't on these all the time. It's we get the kind of the same people coming back time and time again. But how we do these is we go through and we share nosing notes, just kind of an open forum. Anybody comes up with a nosing note, just share it. You can leave your mic open and that type of thing. And then for this group, what I'll do is I'll kind of split it in half. And then I will call on people, about half the group, and ask for tasting notes. And then the next bunch that we do, I'll call on the other half of the group as we try our second whiskey. So everyone will, be participative. I like having participation in these, and I like to get everyone involved. So that's why we do what we do. So, but again, because it's a bigger group, I don't want to go through everyone and go get tasting notes because it'll get repetitive. There's only so much you can pull. Even though these are some very flavorful whiskeys, I think you're going to get some interesting profiles and probably a lot more than you're used to. So let's start with the Leopold Brothers and just a little bit of background on that. Each of these, of course, has a story. They are some great whiskeys. And with Leopold Brothers, the story with this one is the 3-chamber still. So the 3-chamber still was something that we just utilized pre-prohibition. It really was, I think what people found was it really specialized for making rye whiskey. It just made great rye whiskey for some reason, the 3-chamber still, which is basically like stacking on top of one another, basically 3 pot stills. And it just pulls in more oils into it. It just gives a more flavorful whiskey. But the issue with that is because there is so many different functions that go with this. You literally have to have someone monitoring that still full time when it's turned on and running. So it's not like you may go to your favorite distillery and they turn on the still and they're like, we can't leave the distillery because we gotta run this and it's going to be several hours, and they'll be there in case anything pops up or anything like that, or they got to make a cut. If you're using a pot still, you might have to make a cut at some point, but they kind of know when that's going to happen just about. So but with this, they're doing something like every 15 minutes. So what Todd Leopold said when I went and visited his place was when that still's running, they have someone that they pay to watch Netflix and sit right next to the still. They can't do anything else because if they're not adjusting a lever or turning a knob or dialing something in every 15 minutes as it's needed, it won't make the whiskey right. So, but it ends up being worth it in the end. And Todd Leopold took a great chance. I like to talk about the things that he did by buying that still, because there's no other one in the United States, and there are some 3-chamber stills out there in the world. I think there's a couple that make rum and things like that, but nobody's using it to make whiskey anymore. So Todd Leopold decides he wants to, in reading some old articles and stuff like that and finding out about it, he was interested in it. And what put him in over the top, he was looking at the old Seagram's plant in Peoria, Illinois, which is a big time producer, and they had 2 continuous columns where you can make whiskey nonstop. It's just going full time. And then they had this 3-chamber still that they would make rye with. And Todd Leopold is like, why would they do that? They've got 2 continuous columns where they can make an unlimited amount of whiskey, basically based on the size, and they're pumping this stuff out. Why would they have this thing where they have to do all this work, where they got to have someone that's there, that's labor intensive. You can make a mistake if you're not doing those things and ruin the whole batch. Why would you do that? And of course, he knew the answer why you would do that. You do that because it makes great whiskey. You can't replicate that on that column still. So Todd Leopold said, I want to try this. So again, not knowing anything, he went to Vendome, and of course they used to make them, but they hadn't made them in almost 100 years. So he orders this thing. He has to sign something saying they can't even guarantee it's going to work, and he's like, I can get this thing to work. And so he buys it and makes the whiskey. And then of course we know the deal with whiskey. It can taste good coming off the still, but what's it going to taste like after it's got a few years on it? Because that's what it really needs to get the full flavor profile. So he has to put it in and wait, and he has to wait 4 years. And ultimately it comes out, and that gets us to where we are tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, the 3-chamber rye, one of my favorite whiskeys for the last couple of years. So with that, let's go ahead and pour the second one that we're going to do, the Neely. But again, we're just setting that aside. We like to pour one ahead. I like to get a little bit of air on these things. So that's why we pour one ahead. So pour the Neely, put it aside, and then grab the Leopold 3-chamber rye. And again, kind of a communal nosing notes before we even taste it. Oh, what are you guys getting from this?
This is my favorite German deli in Fredericksburg, Texas. It smells just like this. Big rye, big caraway.
Big rye, caraway.
Man, it's good.
Yeah, there's also some sweet in there.
Something like buttered popcorn, maybe?
Buttered popcorn. I'm getting almost like a brewer's yeast. I mean, kind of a yeasty and fruity smell. I mean,
like tangerine or apricot or something.
Tangerine or apricot, yeah.
Apricot for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, raisin.
Raisin, yeah.
Little
Chocolate
peanut
covered,
butter.
chocolate covered cherries, but not like, it's like a Dutch chocolate, kind of powdery.
Okay.
It's not going to be your normal milk or your darks. It's got this, the whole thing. It's funny. It smells powdery, but creamy.
Yeah. Steve is coming in with sweet aromatics, butterscotch, honey, brown sugar. Yeah. Amazing, right? I think he had to be pleased when he drilled that first barrel and this comes pouring out of there and he puts this up to his nose after going through all that, spending, I don't know, $400,000 on the still. Jim, you got a question or something? And then
4 years.
4 years, yeah.
Did he pick 4 years or was he just waiting, tasting and waiting?
Well, tasting, I mean, it has, that's what he thought he'd do it at least 4 years. And then he's tasting, he's like, this is ready to go. So that's when he decided to put it out. So, all right. Well, let's give this thing a taste and see what we think. I mean, my gosh. I feel like you could throw out a tasting note and it's there. I mean, there's so much. It's definitely starts out very fruity, almost like orange, like orange or tangerine, and then it yields. There's a little. You even get a little of the oak in there, and then for me, a nice warm finish, spicy rye at the end. It's got that going on. So, and just amazing amount of flavor. So much packed in there.
What's the ABV on this one, Steve?
This one comes in at 100 proof. 100 proof. But it's got a finish that feels like it lingers way longer than a typical 100 proof one does. Kind of just sticks with you. Yeah, and it goes back to all those oils that stay in there. They coat the palate. And that allows that finish to just stick around and stay with you, and you get that spiciness that just kind of keeps flaring up, after you drink it. So really, really good.
I don't remember. Did he bottle and bond this one?
I don't think it's bottled and bond. I don't think. Oh yeah, it is. It is. You're right. You're right, Jason. Bottle and bond. So
that explains the fourth then. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
A pretty awesome thing about this is you could take an ounce and you could drink that all night and be tasting it all night. I mean,
right.
It just keeps staying with you.
Yeah. Kathy, I'll start with you again. We'll kind of do half the group here on tasting notes. What are your thoughts here as you taste this one? Any notes you'd like to share?
I think you nailed it. I felt like the orange was more like one of those candy orange slices that's covered in sugar at the front. And then it transforms from sweet to more spicy.
Yeah.
So really yummy.
Nice. Mr. Gascamp, how about you, buddy?
Yeah, so I went from a caraway deli to then the fruit hitting, and now it's kind of yielding to almost a nice leather note too. So it's kind of running the map on the nose. Definitely fruit forward at the beginning, good and woody. I like it. Sorry, Bill. Damn, now I owe him $1,000 because I stole the.
That's his line. Bill reserves the right to rate something. I like it. So yeah.
So no, it's really good. It's warm. It's not too spicy, but the spice kind of builds as it lingers. But absolutely great experience.
Okay. All right, Mr. Whitlatch, from your mini red solo cup, what are your thoughts?
Tangerine.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's there. There's no doubt. So. Yeah, really, really nice. Mr. Wickle.
It's really good. I like it's definitely a sipper and has a great. I'm not getting the spice that maybe some of y'all are, but I don't know if something's wrong with my palate. I was trying to pregame a little bit earlier, so I don't know. I don't know what's going on. So, but it's really good though.
Yeah, I'm noticing now as I'm drinking this kind of, on the aftertaste, kind of a little bit of It goes through that with the spicy, but then kind of aftertaste is kind of like a melon, kind of like a honeydew or something like that. So that's interesting. Dave, how about you, man?
Yeah, this is really good. Definitely getting some grass, off the nose. Someone mentioned raisin, and man, that either ruined me or dialed in perfectly. I can't get past the raisin aroma and some taste there as well, but definitely good.
Yeah. Steve L put in via the chat function: green tobacco, mint, light pepper, and grassy. Okay. All right. Jason, what are your thoughts, man?
I mean, for me, this is the height of what complexity can do, but still be attainable. You can there's some whiskeys that are so nuanced and everything that
they're fighting with another.
You can't get any. This one, it just kind of just keeps unfolding on top of itself, and I think a lot of it is because the oil. Like it really is that it carries all of that flavor, it coats the entire mouth and lets you keep tasting it. And then slowly, as the oil goes away, it unlocks new things that were there just sitting on your tongue.
Yeah. All right, Justine, how about you?
Definitely has a good mouthfeel. I get to your orange or like your tangerine or orange. It's like those chocolate oranges that you get like around Christmas
at the
time.
holidays. Yeah.
It's like that, a marbled rye bread and leather.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
I like it.
Mr. Bill, anything you'd like to note?
I like it.
I'm sorry, it was already taken by Mike Gascap. You got to
But that's mine.
I like it a lot.
It's fantastic. It's one of the best ryes I've had.
Yeah, fair enough.
Now, is this designated as a rye?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was a high rye bourbon.
Nope. It's an actual rye. Yep.
Cool.
Yep. And I would encourage you to watch the video where Todd Leopold talks about the entire process, the rye that they use, how they age it, talks about the still, of course. I mean, it's really one of the best produced videos that I've seen. And it's just, if you're not a fan of what he's doing out there after watching that, I'm not sure the whiskey game is what you're really are into, because it's just that powerful. So check it out on YouTube. I'll include a link to it.
Cool.
I always send out an email afterwards. I'll include the direct link to that, so you make sure you're watching the right video, because he's on a couple of different videos. Of course, he gets interviewed a lot, but I'll make sure you get the one that really where he produced it. And it's cool. He shows you exactly how that 3-chamber works too, which is very much worth seeing. Steve, you put those notes in there. Anything else on that?
Oh yeah. Let's see. One note that was different for me than what a lot of folks are saying is the fruit. I don't know. I had some barbecue before I came on. I don't know if that killed my palate for the fruit taste, but I didn't taste the tangerine. One thing that I thought was really surprising was the nose to me was super sweet, but which is not very rye-like, but the palate was definitely rye-like, with the grass and the mint to me. But yeah, this is just a freaking amazing.
It's special, isn't it?
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, it's one of the few whiskeys that I search for on Google, and you can hit shopping and it'll tell you what's available locally. And if I see a store that has it, I tend to go buy a bottle just so I've got one at all times. And it's expensive. I mean, a couple $100, but when you make something that unique and that flavorful, and again, I'm not drinking it every night or anything like that. It's a special occasion type of thing, and this one's
dangerously delicious. This is one I'd fall off a porch with this.
That's a real thing in the ABV network. Falling off the porch is that's when you really like something so much you just drink it, but it's so smooth and so easy drinking that you don't even notice until you fall off the porch, and then yes, it's time to stop drinking. So that was coined by Stephanie McNeil, my co-host on the Bourbon Daily. She used to have a porch that was conducive to that. Apparently, I found out it had like a railing that was flat, and she would sit on the rail. So she was set up to fail from the beginning. She's sitting on the railing, drinking, and then she would just fall off the rail. I thought she was literally falling off the chair on the porch and then sometimes rolling off the. No, it's a porch with a railing, and she's falling off the railing. So yeah, that's bad form on her part. So. All right. Well, that's the first one in the books. Again, we're just going to be asking at the end of the night what your favorite is. Not going to have you rank them or anything like that, but what's your favorite? So be thinking about that. We'll go back through at the end of the night. And we always go through these twice anyway. So we'll go through a second time, not as a detailed, we won't call them or anything, but we do like to go through twice on all of our tastings. All right, let's go ahead and pour the third one, which is the Hard Truth Sweet Mash Rye. But again, we're going to set that aside because we're going to be getting the Neely. So the Neely is a bourbon. But back to Mr. Bill's point, this is a high rye bourbon. So this is, I'm looking at the bottle here. It's 67% corn, 25% rye, and 8% malted barley. So that's the mash bill. This one comes in at 108.2 proof. And again, this was a gold medal winner in San Francisco, which, if you ask me, San Francisco is the Super Bowl of awards. That's the big award show in my mind. So this is that whiskey that he just won this year, gold with. All right, let's once again talk on the nose. Kind of buttercreamy. I mean, on the nose, the buttercream icing.
I was kind of getting like some type of like cake or cupcake or something.
Cake, yeah, makes sense. Goes well with the buttercream frosting I mentioned. So yeah. What else are you guys getting? Anything? I mean, it's kind of like butterscotchy too. That's interesting.
I think the three chamber rye ruined the nose for this.
It's Todd Leopold's fault. So yeah.
I think it does have a lighter nose.
This one is tough to do because you've got proofs. You always want to go by proof, but then you got bourbon and rye, and you're flipping back. Typically, you like to do all your ryes together and bourbons, but we got such high proofs on some of them. I didn't want to mess things up. Go from a if we did a bourbon first, which you typically would do, but we got 126 proof bourbon at some point, and then go down to 100 proof rye. I didn't think this was a tough one to coordinate. I just did the best I could. I just went in proof order is what we're doing. So not ideal probably, but it is Steve's favorite. So that's what we got to do. So let's give it a taste then. Light on the nose. Everyone's saying let's try it. See what we got here. This one has been aged 30 months, by the way. So 2 years, 6 months.
Steve, is this the barrel that got named Long Smooth Rye?
No.
Oh, it's a different one.
This is Night Rider.
Oh, okay.
Ryeder. Night Rider. So that's the name that they gave it. So
this is light on the nose, but it's not light on the palate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you're getting everything from breakfast cereal to the spicy of the rye. Maybe even we talked raisin last time. I think you got a little raisin in this one too. Definitely some sweet notes in there that are conducive to that. Casey, what are your thoughts as you taste this one? What kind of tasting notes are you grabbing?
Well, I got the vanilla cupcake on the nose, and I'm getting a lot of kind of buttery tones on the palate. Definitely got that rye spice, kind of complicating things while I'm trying to figure out what it tastes like, because it's really
right.
tingling in there. But maybe a little hint of orange. Yeah, I'm still working through this one because I think it's going to open up like the last one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Definitely layers of flavors here. So very good stuff. Let's jump down to David and Caroline and ask them what their thoughts are. What do you guys think? What kind of tasting notes you getting?
I really like it. It's really it's completely different than the first one.
Oh yeah.
Just how right from the start. It reminds me something about the texture of it to me reminds me of absinthe a little bit.
Okay.
Or at least a bottle of absinthe that we have. Like it's something in the texture a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
I smelled the bubble gum a little bit at first.
Okay. All right.
And the cake, the buttercream, definitely got that. Yeah, it's really good though, and really
Nice.
changing as it sits.
Pound cake, cornbread with honey butter is what Jason Souter's saying he's getting there. So interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting. If you're an absinthe fan, by the way, I can't recommend Neely Family Distillery's Absinthe enough. They've won double gold both years that this product has been available.
Oh, great.
And if they win again next year, they will win platinum, which is the highest recognition you can get at San Francisco. And then that's it. So that's the end of the line. They win 3 double golds, which is a unanimous, by the way, of all the judges there. So when you win double gold, it's all of them are recommending that product. So a pretty amazing thing to be able to do that. First time American absinthe has ever been received any of these type of accolades. So it's a cool story for sure. For sure.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. David, we'll ask you too. Some tasting notes.
It's a good one. Definitely hits the taste buds a lot different than the first one. But it is quite tasty and it lingers there good. So
yeah.
I'll go with, I think it was Mike that says I like it. That's good.
Oh yeah. Mike stole that from Mr. Bill, but yes.
Mr. Bill. So yeah. So
we'll have to find Mike a second time because you said that just to
That's
teach
right.
Mike a lesson. That's the only way Mike's going to learn. That's the only way he'll learn.
Right.
I don't want to write 2 checks. Don't even worry about that.
You can make it one.
That second
I
one
can make
kind of
it
wasn't
one.
his fault, but it is what it is, Mike. You just got to pay.
This night's getting real expensive.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Andy, how about you, man? What are your thoughts as you taste this one?
Yeah, I really, it's very good, and I like the finish. I've got a real, just a lingering mint finish that I'm getting, which is really nice.
Yeah, definitely hangs around a little while. Evan Vansquake.
Yeah, I've been trying to figure out what type of spice I'm getting. I can't narrow in on like which type of spice, but it's something like a seasoning baking type spice.
Cinnamon allspice. It's new. It's a hybrid.
Yeah. All right.
Wow. I just
so something
invented that.
like that mixed with the cake from earlier.
Okay.
So it's like a spicy cake.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. All right. Jump up to Jim Baruby out of Mandeville, Louisiana. What are your thoughts, buddy?
Well, I was thinking it reminded me of a cinnamon roll. I mean, not that it was like super heavy on the cinnamon, but it was like that kind of yeasty, doughy.
Yeah.
With that kind of frosting on it, but then the finish, I was also getting more of like the root beer and sassafras, kind of a little tingle, with the spice going down. So really enjoyed that one. It was nice.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Dave and Dave, the Dave and Dave show. What are your thoughts?
From a production side, I don't know if they have a column still or some
Pot still guy. Yeah.
It definitely drank a lot cleaner, almost like maybe not as deep into the tails as Leopold's had done. Not that that's a bad thing. It's just definitely a crisper, not as long lasting flavor.
Yes. Yeah. Very interesting. Yeah. And Dave, wait, and now we got to talk to Dave.
I've never used this one in a tasting note, but I was getting a really nice vanilla yogurt.
Okay.
The creaminess and vanilla really coated the outside jowl inside, and just very pleasurable.
Okay. Blaine, how about you?
Yeah, I'm like Evan. I was trying to pick out that spice, but I'm getting that kind of the vanilla, cinnamon clovey type taste with that cake. But I like the beginning. It's pretty smooth to start out with.
Yeah. Very cool. All right. Last but not least on this, Avery.
I guess similar to my dad. Not surprising, probably. But sweet up front. Really, I couldn't tell it was like frosting or vanilla, and then I love this spice just like lingered on your palate for a while. It really opened up.
Nice. Greg put out there after saying, "Don't call on me for tasting notes." Look at that. He's throwing them out there now. Now he's just throwing them out to the group. He said pastry or French toast. So that's perfect. It's perfect. So yeah, that's right on, man. So that's good. All right, we're going to set that one aside. And next one is going to be Hard Truth. But let's go ahead and pour our fourth one of the night, which is going to be the Old Monroe, the straight rye whiskey. Let's put that aside and set that off. And then we'll grab this bottle, because I do want to show you this real quick, because it is a beautiful bottle. I love the shape, the fact it's in the glass, the wording and stuff like that. That's cool. And then of course the cork. For those of you that were here earlier, that's a natural cork. That's not a fake cork. It's half a cork tree actually right there to create that. So yeah. Really cool stuff, and it's sweet mash rye, and this comes from our good friends at Hard Truth. And again, we're lucky we've got the master distiller here. We got the guy who made this stuff with us. So let's check in with Bryan Smith and tell us a little bit about this one before we even get into the nosing and the tasting stuff with this one. Bryan, tell us about this whiskey.
Sure. Hey, Steve. Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me out tonight. Appreciate it. I'll try to do my best to speak through my nasally self today. I certainly shouldn't be offering any nosing notes to you guys this evening, because I'm smelling some weird stuff. But anyways, so if y'all are familiar or not familiar with Hard Truth, we're a distillery in Nashville, Indiana, about 30 minutes east of Bloomington, Indiana, if you're familiar with Bloomington. And we're on 325 acres. Beautiful distillery campus. We've got a 300-seat restaurant, 1,500 person outdoor music venue.
300-seat restaurant, 1,500 outdoor venue. This place is, you think Nashville, Indiana. Well, that's got to be small, right? That's just a little town, and it is a little town. But there's this huge distillery in there with this beautiful. It's like Disney built it. If you go there, I'm not kidding. It looks like Disney, but it's like the Frontier World or something, at Disney. So that's amazing.
Yeah, thank you. That's the vision of my partners. I got to play with the liquid, but
right.
they had the big vision. But it's kind of fun because from an experience standpoint, if you spend enough time down in Kentucky at those old classic distillery tours, I mean, they're wonderful, and I recommend everyone do them, multiple times. But we knew we really wanted to blow it out of the water and offer a different kind of experience. Put a cocktail in people's hands right from the beginning. We have side-by-side ATV tours. We drive, you drink. You can go into the barrel warehouse, drill some barrels. We've got a lot of different stuff. And you can really spend a full day there with, if you bring your family, bring the kids, or just bring some friends, it's a kick in the pants.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The whiskey. Let's hear about the whiskey. What was the inspiration? And tell us all about this thing.
So this is our first release of our whiskey. That's 100% ours, grain grown by our farmers, mashed, fermented, distilled, and aged at Hard Truth. This is a marriage of 30 barrels, which you guys are actually drinking is our very first release. So this is batch one, mash bill one. Mash bill one is 94% rye, 6% malted barley. Not to be confused with 95.5, because it's very different from that. But I'll tell you for just quickly kind of how we landed on sweet mash. Spent a lot of time down in Kentucky as we figured out, what we wanted to, how we wanted to run our stills. And when I met Shane and Pat at Wilderness Trail before they released anything, and I tasted a 2.5-year-old rye from their rick house drilled out of barrel, it just pretty much blew my mind. So we knew we wanted to run sweet mash. So again, every batch, fresh grain, fresh yeast, fresh water, every single time creates a much softer distillate. The distillate going into the barrel, and Steve, you got to try some of the new make.
Yep, I sure have.
Distillate going into the barrel is soft. It's very sweet. The process that we use, the yeast strains that we use, bring out a lot of fruit from this rye berry. So for each mash bill, and just so y'all know too, we'll have 4 rye mash bills and 4 bourbon mash bills coming down the road. So this is just the first recipe of 8 total to come. But for each recipe, I use 2 different yeast strains and 5 barrel profiles. So what that gives me at the end, when I marry those 30 barrels, gives me the opportunity to really create a lot of complexity. I love complex whiskeys. I love whiskeys that get on your tongue and on your palate, and they're not done wrestling with you for a good 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, wow. And this one's going to come in at 115.2 proof, so that's pretty cool. And let's get on this one. So let's talk like we do on the nosing notes. What are your thoughts here?
Juicy fruit.
Juicy fruit. Yeah. Yeah. Juicy fruit gum. First official bubble gum note of the evening. It's been tossed out about there a couple times. We haven't had anybody drill it down to what kind or anything.
Buttery French toast.
Buttery French toast. Nice.
Definitely getting the bread notes.
Bread notes. Okay.
I'm getting trail mix without any of the granola. It's all the nuts, the M&Ms, and a lot of the dried fruit.
Dried fruit. Yeah.
I almost get like
One of our
floral note.
Floral note. Okay.
One of the yeast strains that we use ferments real hot on the front end. And whenever it's in new make form, it's a real, like almost like a mango tropical fruit. And then we found after a couple, 2-3 years in the barrel, it almost mellows out. For me, it's kind of going into that peach apricot, ripe stone fruit kind of territory.
Yeah. David and Caroline say maple syrup and cherry vanilla. Okay. Oh yeah. Kind of getting a different nose every time. Again, that's always a good sign. You're getting a lot of different things here.
Definitely
Want me to
getting the apricot now. I wasn't putting my finger on it before, but definitely
apricot.
I found I got cherry initially, but then as it's sitting here, it's kind of going into, more of like an apricot or something like that.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I can give you a way too elaborate picture.
Okay.
I'm gonna take
Paint it for us.
I'm gonna take
Okay.
that French toast that Justine had. I'm gonna put some honey butter on it. Then I'm gonna take a nice fruit medley, put that on top of there, drizzle some honey and some syrup, maybe even sprinkle a little powdered sugar right here.
There it is. Okay. Okay. On that note, let's taste this one and see. We got a lot on the nose, which is fantastic. So let's see what we got on the taste.
Evan, I think it's better than that.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And that rye kind of sticks with you. A slow fuse to it. It's like you taste it and it's finished, and then it still keeps going. It still keeps hitting you with those zingers of the rye. And yeah, sweet taste. It's fantastic.
For 115, you're not getting a whole lot of. It's all up in your mouth, a little bit in your throat, but not that whole chest heat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's, to me, I'm getting it in the top back part of my palate.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. So it kind of sticks there, and yeah. But again, great mouthfeel. Kind of those flavors stick with you. And
Bryan.
Right there you go. Hey, let's all cheers to Bryan. Cheers to Bryan.
Hey, cheers to you all. Thank you so much.
But again, sweet note up front, kind of a sweet baked goods, not fruity sweet to me, kind of like a sweet baked goods, and then kind of transition to that spicy side on the back. So yeah, very very
the
good.
French toast with the powdered sugar on it.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. I like that.
Butter. You got to get the butter in there. That oily note kind of coating your tongue.
Yeah. Yep. What about you, Andy?
Yep.
Maybe
I like the juicy fruit reference.
Okay.
Because I'm definitely getting that on the nose, and but then on the palate, it's very it's a lot smoother than I was expecting, and very it just a lot of layers, just a lot of layers, a lot of different layers, and some brown sugar, but yet that sweetness just kind of stays with you too.
Yeah. Again, this is one that'll get you in trouble, because let's not forget 115, that's packing some punch there. And, Andy, you're over hanging out at my house, and you and I are talking business or whatever we're talking. You're talking whiskey or whatever, pouring one, pouring another. And next thing you know, you go to stand up, and, it's hitting the floor, and I got to carry you out to the Uber then. Yeah. So yeah, it's
you got to sell these bottles with a walker.
Yeah, it'll get you. Yeah.
Steve, I don't know where your whole group is, but we are now distributed in Illinois and Missouri.
Okay.
This sits on the shelf for between 70 and 80 bucks. At cask strength, uncut, unfiltered. This particular batch 1 is between 2.5 and 3 years old. Those barrels, there are no older barrels married in. Like I said, batch 2 is out in the market, and batch 3 is out in the market as well. Same mash bill. But what you're going to find as we move forward, what I'm finding as we're marrying these barrels is the whole body of that whiskey is getting older. So what we're getting is I'm getting still that big, nice brown sugar sweetness, kind of that Szechuan peppercorn, nice rye spice. But really what I'm getting on the whiskey as it's getting older is a little more depth and richness, and then a longer finish on some of the older batches.
Nice. Well, Blaine, what do you think as you're tasting this one?
Very smooth, very smooth. I kept going back and forth with that juicy fruit, but I think it's kind of more like that fruit stripe gum.
Fruit stripe gum, yes.
I used to get, but I do the cinnamon maple syrup, sort of like Carson's waffle with chicken and maple syrup.
Yeah. Yeah. And fruit stripe gum plays well for most of us. Evan's Googling right now, what is this fruit stripe gum of which they speak? We got the young guy there is like, what the hell are they talking about? These?
Yeah, I'm typing in my notes.
2 seconds.
You guys have no idea how happy this is going to make my partner Tim at the distillery. He loves the note fruit stripe gum, and he's one of the only people I know that uses it. So he's
really okay. Yeah. That's cool. All right, let's go up to Dave and check in with those guys. Dave, what do you think?
I think the fruit stripe gum nailed it. I was trying to like pick it out. I wanted to say bubblegum, but it wasn't quite bubblegummy.
Right. Yeah.
There was some. This isn't an off note, but it was like an artificial, like airheady, something fruity. I just couldn't hint. But it's delicious. It's super complex. You did a great job with this.
Nice. And Dave?
I was getting the old-fashioned root barrel candies.
Yeah.
After about 10 seconds or so, it would drift over to a cloviness for me. Fruit stripe I didn't get, but I haven't chewed a bunch of gum in my life, so.
Yeah. All right. Jim, we'll check in with Jim up here in Louisiana. What do you got?
Well, I definitely, so I had the juicy fruit, but on the nose, that was the big note I picked up first, but on the taste, it was more like, on the palate, as it was the French toast with the powdered sugar. It was just that cinnamon sweetness, the butteriness, kind of all that stuff going together. It wasn't super sweet, but it was like, it just had that kind of touch of sweetness that you get from the powdered sugar.
Yeah.
That was really enjoyable.
Really nice. Okay. Jump over to Steve, my fellow Steve. What are your thoughts?
Well, there's a lot going on here, but boy, it's delicious. Obviously, boy, you're doing pretty good with your picks here, Steve. I'm impressed. But there's, nose, real fruit and floral. Not so much gum to me, but definite fruit and floral. But on the palate, it jumped to, I don't know, I tasted like vanilla cupcake that, pretty intense at the very first flavor. And then you get the traditional rye spice. Oh my gosh, it's really, really fantastic. Again, I think Dave said clove too. I kind of taste that. Nice, nice spice finish. Oh, it lingers. It lingers forever. It's nice.
Yeah. See, now you want to come hang out with me. This is what I'm drinking. Like this stuff right here, this table. This is me every night, just right here. These are my favorites. This is Mr. Gascamp. What are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, this was delicious, and I'm having trouble keeping any in the glass.
Because we want to go back through a second time.
Yeah, I'm struggling with it. I came out with on the palate. And this will be a little interesting, but I got a sweet chewing tobacco. Like in a good way, the stuff I used to steal from my grandfather, and then kind of yield into a brittly sweetness, kind of that cooked brown sugar and a really, really nice dust and a spice over all of that. So it was, man, kudos, Bryan. This is good stuff.
Brian's killing
Thanks,
it.
guys.
Yeah,
thanks.
If
We're not just saying that because you're here. Because
if you're not on the hard truth bandwagon, you need to get on there because it's some really good stuff going on
Steve,
there.
I'm sending you some more Venmo money.
All right. Last but not least, Mr. Whitlatch.
Really sweet initially on the palate, so sweet that I thought I had to check the label to make sure it was still a rye.
Right.
And a pretty rapid transition to the rye spice. Soft, not overwhelming. And boy, does it linger. That's really, really nice finish. And by the way, Bryan, I like your gin too.
Yeah.
Oh,
there you
thank
go.
you.
There you go.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, let's put that one aside. Again, we'll come back to it and let's pour our last one of the evening, which will be the Old 55 sweet corn. So pour that one, but then put it aside because we're not drinking that one just yet. Put that one aside. Okay. And then grab your glass of Stumpy's Old Monroe. This is their straight rye whiskey that comes in at 119.6. Now, just a little bit of the story about this one. Also very interesting. Again, Adam Stump, very creative distiller, always challenging himself and doing different things. And he's got kind of a cool thing because he grew up on a farm, a huge farm in Southern Illinois. 4,000 acres is what he's got there. So big family farm right here in Southern Illinois. And, he has the luxury of being able to experiment, to do different things. And he was reading in a old Seagram's manual. And of course, this isn't anything that any of us would pick up. I think it's pretty dry reading, but Seagram's really documented every process and things like that. Of course, we think of Seagram's today and some of those brands, we don't think a whole lot of them, but there's a time when Seagram's was the biggest in the world. And, they documented a lot of the things that they did in manuals. So if you're a distiller, this is interesting reading for you to go through and see the old processes. And he's taken a lot from that over the years. But one of the things in there was this recipe that we're about to try. They had this recipe for this rye. And it had a specific type of rye to use. And then he followed the mash bill. And even being a farmer, he was able to get that specific grain of rye and bring it to his farm and grow it. So, it's a project that takes, several years for that to happen. But, you've got the benefit of you're used to, working with time when you're in the distilling business. So he gets the special rye, makes it, but he's doing all kinds of other experiments. So it's not like he, distills that and like, okay, now we're going to wait 2 years and I'll sell, my regular bourbon. He's doing all kinds of different experiments and things like that. And then, he gets to time, waits the appropriate amount of time, a couple of years to try this for the first time or whatever. And he tries it and it blows him away. And I don't know, I think he released this at like 3 years and it is so good, but guess what? He only had I think it was the 3 barrels that he made of this as an experiment. So, what he immediately does is goes back and he wasn't making more thinking I'm going to, this is going to be this cool special thing. So what he does is he does this experiment, finds out he really likes it and goes back and starts making it again at the end of the experiment. So now we still got about 2 more years or so, maybe a year and a half till we'll be able to get some more of this like we're trying tonight because, he did the experiment and really liked it and said, I'm going to do this, but you can't speed up time. So that's what we're getting ready to try. Comes in again, 119.6 proof. Let's talk a little bit about this one on the nose.
I like dried cherries.
Dried cherries. Okay. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it takes me back to the instant oatmeal packets, like Quaker Oat, and like back in the day, I would take a couple of different ones and mix them together. So like peaches and cream, brown
his own
sugar.
oatmeal mash bill.
Yeah. Oh man.
Mom, look at this mash bill I created this morning.
Takes me back to the late 90s.
Late 90s. Okay. Yeah, oatmeal in there's good.
Yeah, because it's along with Evan. It's. I'm also getting kind of like spice cookie, but it's the dough. It's the uncooked dough.
The dough, yeah.
Yeah, I'd written down like raw biscuits.
Yeah,
raw biscuits.
And then I'm picking out like a little bit of like barn dust, barn dirt, and raw steak. In a good way, not
barn dust and raw steak, but in the good way. Not you're thinking of the bad way of barn dust.
That's just the instant oatmeal dust.
Right.
Yeah, there you go.
Right.
Barn dust.
I get it. We come up with some of the craziest things, but yeah. So if you've been doing this for a while, it's like, oh, okay, I get that. Yeah.
We're still waiting on fried oranges though.
Yeah. Fried oranges. Yes.
I'm nosing a little marzipan.
Marzipan. Okay. You're on the wrong event then. So yeah.
That's for the fancy tasting. You don't do that.
Yes. Yeah. You picked the wrong guy here. Yeah. All right. Let's taste this one. Cheers, gang. Let's see what we got here.
Cheers.
Ooh.
Man. Starts
Brian's
out.
done a good job with all of these.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing, right?
Let's see why they're your favorites.
Now, this for me, this one tastes, baked goods, and then it moves to the fruit, kind of a little bit after that, and then it yields to the spice at the end, and a lot of stuff in between. Again, there's so much going on there. It's just one of those. And Justine, she got several bottles of this as well. It's a special one that as soon as we tried it, we knew that there's something good going on here. So yeah, really good stuff, isn't it?
I don't know if anyone got like a waterfall of sweetness the second they took a sip. It was just like super silky mouthfeel and delicious.
Yeah. Amazing. Mr. Bill, what are your thoughts on this one?
I like it.
Okay. That's as good as we can get. You can't get better than that. So why even ask anything else? Kathy Cool, big fan of Stumpy. She's a St. Louis resident, so she'll make it over to Stumpy. Yeah, I had no idea about what was going on there before hanging out with me, even though she's from St. Louis. She'd never been to there before she met me. So yeah, I feel like I've given her the gift of Stumpy Spirits. Yeah. Then she went to an event one time. Get this. She goes to an event and Adam Stump is there, man in a booth, and Gary from Wood Hat. And she's like, I said, were there any bourbon celebrities there? She's like, well, Gary from Wood Hat. And then I tell Adam this. I'm like, well, nobody showed up to this thing other than Gary from Wood Hat. He's like, I was there. I'm like, well, Kathy didn't tell me that.
Not when I was there.
I mean, I rolled on Kathy so quick. I turned her in. She was banned from there for a little while. Till then she came in with her credit card and bought like a case of stuff. Then Adam was like, oh, she's good. She can come in.
I did. I bought a case of that bottle and bond.
Yeah. But any tasting notes on this one, Kathy?
I feel like it is like a creamy oatmeal, lots of sweet, lots of the still sticking with my dried cherries. Good spice.
Yeah.
Surprised a lot of these are ryes.
Yeah. I didn't know it. I guess I'm a rye guy. I don't know. That's just what I like. I just like what I like, Kathy. Jason Wickle, how about you, man?
I mean, it's really, really good. It starts out sweet for me, a nice mouthfeel, and then kind of heats up on the back end, and I get a little minty.
A little mint, okay. Yeah. A little of that famous rye mint. Yeah, fair enough. Dave, how about you?
I think it's sweet on the front. I agree with that. It's really dry on the back. It's like a sauna. That heat comes in and it's dry on the finish. But it's nice. It kind of like the previous one. It doesn't sort of run down your throat. It sort of stays on top, but it has a nice finish.
Yeah. Jason, how about you?
I get this. It's like peach herbal tea with honey.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing it reminds me of, actually, the 3 out of the 4 we've had. I was talking to a friend, and we said we were trying to think, where did we ever get the idea that rye isn't supposed to be sweet? And it's because I think we in our heads we always go directly to the baking spices that the rye bread and everything.
Right.
But the sweet you get from rye is fruit and it's honey, and it can get really sweet. And every time it seems to like surprise. It surprised me. It surprised a bunch of you all that you just kind of jump into it and you're like, oh, that's sweet.
Yeah. All right, jump over to Casey. Casey, what are your thoughts on this one?
So I agree with Kathy. I'm getting the cherries on the nose, but I'm getting glacé cherries. And then I get kind of a Christmassy cake kind of thing going on.
Christmas
like
cake.
Christmas cake in a glass. Got the sweetness and savoriness, a little bit of fruit, lots of different spices. It's making me want to hang up some lights and stuff.
You're getting festive.
Yeah, feeling festive.
Yeah. Okay. All right. David and Caroline, what are your thoughts?
So I agree with it's sweet to start with, but then you get that heat off of it that stays in your mouth for a while. It really just run through flavors that I'm not sure I can be specific with them, but I'll go back to, I'll be the third. I like it. So I think you've turned this
Mike.
into rye.
Yeah. Mike, pay that check. Don't forget. So yeah. Nice. Caroline, how about you?
I'm gonna agree with the dried cherry and the oatmeal idea.
Okay.
And just say, yeah, I like it.
I like it.
$1,000.
Yeah. There we go. There.
Who's got the bell? Start
I
ringing
do.
the bell.
I got it. Yeah. I just yeah.
There it is.
All right. Avery, how about you?
I get some of the oat and honey at the beginning, and it's kind of nice. Like the aftertaste, for some reason, cherry came out of it.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Very cool. Greg, I know you said not to call you, but then you threw some out there on another one. Anything you want to add to this?
I'm just not sure if I'm going to know what to say about one, but yeah, a couple things came to mind.
Okay.
I love.
You can't be wrong, by the way. It's we're asking you for your taste, and 100% you can't be wrong. It's like a no-fail quiz.
I feel like some opinions are better than others.
I don't know about that. So yeah. What anything on this one then?
Yeah, I thought there was a little some ginger spice.
No, that's wrong. That's not there. That's not there.
I'm gonna say something no one else is gonna say.
Oh, yeah, come on in. The water's fine.
Walk right into that one. I mean, come on.
I apologize, Greg. That was rude. But I had to. It was there.
I think Greg was a little misunderstood there.
I get that one.
Anything else? You probably never do this again. That's it. Let's say goodbye to Greg. We won't see him anymore.
So how many do we have left?
He's like, I tried. Screw it. I'm done with this.
No, it's really good. I'm enjoying this one.
All right. Well, thank you. And thanks for being a good sport. I was having
man.
some fun there. All right. Next up is Old 55. You talk about a beautiful bottle. Let's go with this one. So again, Jason Fruits, I kicked off this event by telling you a little bit about that sweet corn, how he does this hearts of the hearts cut, and it's extremely inefficient, and he knows that going in and doesn't care. He wants to have a special whiskey that no one else can make. And, he wants it to be, his signature whiskey, even if it's not practical, and it's too expensive for him to do. So he comes out with this, and, this bottle, look at this bottle. It's like a decanter, a huge cork on this thing. I mean, it's just as big as a doorknob. Everything about it's over the top. Guess who made this bottle? So we talk about, this bottle's made by Glencairn. The people who make probably most of the glasses you guys are drinking out of. Only time I've ever heard of them doing a bottle in my life. So, and this bottle probably costs more than most bottles of whiskey, so it's definitely a unique thing, that's for sure. So, so it's something pretty special. This one comes in at 125.6. I don't remember if I mentioned that or not. So that's pretty cool. So let's grab this one and let's nose it and talk about it. So what are we getting on the nose on this one? What do you guys think?
Lots of cherry.
Lots of cherries. Being at the cherry farm, basically.
This color is phenomenal.
Color's phenomenal. Oh yeah. So I saw someone who said that. Oh, Mr. Bill said that to me. Yeah. It's like deep amber, I would say, would be what I would call it. So yeah.
Getting buttered grilled corn.
Buttered grilled corn. Yeah, there you go. Now you're talking. So
I was gonna say like fresh buttered movie popcorn.
Fresh buttered movie popcorn. Yeah. Makes sense. This sweet corn, and it being a sweet corn bourbon. So it's really interesting.
You got a barbecue place that does melted butter on their warm cornbread.
Mhm.
That's what
you're getting. Yeah. I could see that. All right.
Do you know what the barrel entry proof is?
What the proof on this one is 125.6.
How about the barrel entry proof?
Oh, the barrel entry proof? I'm not sure. I don't know that off the top of my head. Sorry. I do not know.
Is this age stated?
I think this is also age enhanced selected by Master Jason Fruits. Does not say. Does not say. Everything's hand numbered though, the bottle and all that. But it does not say an age statement on there. I think he said it's like 4 years, but I don't know for sure. I don't know for sure, but so.
This a hybrid still? Or is this a pot still?
This is a pot still. Yeah. Well, it is. So
I thought he said he just aged them to perfection.
he does, but it was over 4 years. So it's yeah, and he's got a different thing too. He's in an old high school, and he is under in the basement of this old high school is his rick house, which is interesting. So yeah, something it's climate control.
Class a lot more if I knew that.
You would have done what?
I'd have stayed in class a lot
Oh
more.
yeah,
In the basement.
yeah. It's kind of
Actually, I
wild.
wouldn't have said in class. I would have been down to the basement.
Yeah, they still have like the gym in there, and like a stage, where they had all the stuff. So it's an interesting place to visit. All right, let's taste this one and see what we got. Here we go. Wow. I mean, how about the finish on that thing? I mean, again, such a layering of different explosive flavors. It's crazy. I mean, you certainly get the corn, but it's like sweet caramel corn. I mean, there's definitely that. I mean, the mouthfeel is different than anything that I've ever tasted. I mean,
are you sure it's just not syrup?
It darn near could be, couldn't it? I mean, you talk about coating your mouth. I mean, yeah.
There's so much caramel here. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. It's just like you can imagine, this popcorn. They've just, a big bucket full of hot caramel going on top. And then, there, dig in. I mean,
the hint of smoke.
I was about to say, I get a campfire smoke there on the back end. I
Mm-hmm.
mean,
but just a hint, just a pleasant hint.
Yeah. Yeah. A little smoke on there. A little pound
Definitely
cake in
gets
there too.
popcorn there.
Popcorn. Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, that's
I was thinking corn on the grill. So that's
corn on the grill. Yeah.
Yeah, where you put it in the husk.
Yeah, I was getting like that green vegetative, that exactly the husky aroma.
Yeah. Jason, what do you think of this one? Jason Sauter.
Yeah, this one I love the dark notes. It's got that leathery, almost jam preserves kind of fruit notes of the overly ripe. It's concentrated, it's thick. But it's still just got that buttery corn just all over it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Again, heats up just nicely. Kind of gives you a little bit of warmth down for a little bit, kind of a hug type of thing, but also kind of sticks with you on the palate too, where that kind of heats up. Brisket whiskey, I like that. I like that.
Jason makes me so mad with his whiskey. I'm gonna tell him I'm mad at him again.
Your fellow Indiana distiller, yes, yeah.
Steve, you had him on your show maybe 6 months ago. Was this the same one that he was talking about how crazy he is to actually make it in the first place?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. This is the one. So yeah,
it's incredible.
Yeah, this is the crazy one for sure.
Does this one have barley? Any malted barley in this, or is it just corn?
No, it's got malted
100%.
barley. Yeah,
I thought it was 100%.
100% corn.
Is it 100% sweet corn? I don't know. Oh, it is. Yeah, distilled from 100% sweet corn. It says it right on the back. Yeah.
see, to me, this one's dangerous. It does not drink like 125 proof to me. And
Definitely falling off the porch.
you
Oh,
get
yeah.
in trouble quick with this one.
125. Yeah. Well, that'll knock you on your ass, right? As they say.
Yeah, as the low proof aficionado, I will say that this is definitely dangerous.
Okay. Even Casey, who doesn't like the high proof stuff, would this be one you would drink, Casey? And this is.
I got to get more details on when I have to drive to Indiana and pick up a bottle of this thing because it's so good.
Yeah. I'll say this one is so special. It's a once a year release. Now, with that being said, he had supply chain issues. He couldn't, he got the bottle, these unique bottles. It comes in a box too. There's, it's a whole presentation with this whiskey, and it's that special. But he had supply chain issues, and getting these was a problem. And matter of fact, Bryan Smith can testify here. He had sent me his bottle, to be in this event, and we had to keep delaying it because we were waiting to get Jason to get this. Now, that being said, he's got the bottles for the next couple of years, and it's a yearly release. So even though this came out in Bill, what time did this come out? About March or something like that? It was supposed to come out in November, December, came out in March. So it came out in 2022, but he's like, this doesn't count as the 2022 release. We're actually going to get this this holiday season this year again. So this will be probably the only time he ever does a twice a year release of this, but we will get this later in the year too. That'll be the official 2020. This is actually the 2021 release. It just didn't come out until 2022. So
the other interesting thing about using sweet corn, if I may, is that it's a very low yielding corn as far as the ethanol. So there's a lot less, doesn't make sense, but there's not a lot less sugar content or potential starch content per bushel. So on top of that cut of the cut, he's just not getting that much starch in there from the get-go like you would with a yellow number 2 dent corn. So that's why you don't see a lot of this going in, because it's expensive to grow and it just doesn't yield too much.
Yeah. So imagine that being expensive to grow, doesn't yield too much, and then doing a whiskey that's 100% of that, and then being like, we're not going to put any junk in this. We're going to do the heart to the heart's cut. And I'll include you the show that Casey was talking about as I talk about the links, and I'll include that show where you will hear him explain what goes into that. And it's just crazy. But again, he wants to do something where anybody that wanted a copy of him, he's like, have at it, but they're not going to do it because it would be just so expensive. So it's a crazy thing that he does just to make himself be different. So it's cool. And it's an event when this comes out, it's get it. You've got a couple days to get up there, and he doesn't hold it for you, anything like that. So you got to get up there. It's I say a couple days, but it's usually over a week. So he announces it, and then he got that weekend, and then usually I've seen into the next week a little bit, but then that's it. So no more than 2 weekends at the most. So, and he's been trying to do more of it. So hopefully, as he gets more interest, it'll balance out by more product being produced.
Hey, did you keep your box?
Yeah, I've still got the box. Yeah.
I first day I got home, popped a bottle, drank some of it. Yeah. I said, I threw that box away. It just wasn't going to fit on my shelf.
Yeah, I get that. I don't know what to do with this bottle now. No, normally I, got some people I give the bottles to that do different things with them.
Take it back for a refill.
Take it back for a refill. Is that the policy at the distillery?
Yeah.
Yeah. This one, it might be a decanter. I mean, again, it's thick, it's heavy. Again, made by Glencairn. It's different. It's cool.
You should make a lamp.
A lamp. Yeah, maybe a lamp is the way to go.
I've not drank much out of mine yet.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, you're not going to. So just a full disclosure. This is a $300 bottle. So I mean, it's not one that again, while you could do that and drink that off the porch, you end up kind of being mad at yourself in the morning because even Jason says, hey, he keeps it on hand, but for him, even though he's the guy making it, he's like, this is a special occasion type of pour. So yeah.
I'd have to lock this one up to save it for myself.
Exactly.
Save it from yourself.
You gotta protect you. Yeah, you gotta protect.
I give the wife the key to that section of the shelf.
Yeah. All right, let's go back through these again one last time. We'll go through this quicker this time, not calling on anybody or anything like that. Please, if there's something that you want to denote, something you feel it's changed, better or worse, let us know, and we'll denote that, and then we'll go through the second time, and then we'll vote on just simply what is your favorite of the night, and we will see who the winner is. So,
can I interrupt for a second? Which one do you have the least of right now?
Well, I have
Truth Sweet.
I'm out of that. I'm out of that. I've got one more bottle of the Stumpy's, the 119.6. I've got another bottle of the old 55. I don't have any of the Neely because that was just a special thing I got for this event. And I do have a Leopold Brothers. So
no, I mean in your glass.
Oh, in the glass. Oh. I guess I've got
Hard Truth. I've got the least of right now.
Hard Truth is probably leading it. Yeah.
It was just the easiest, fastest to drink. It just went down so smooth.
Damn it, Bryan.
Yeah.
Now, Steve, this isn't your $1,000 whiskey tasting, but we got dang near close though.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'd say this is on par with that. Again, leading the way with that, and it's tough to. I mean, this like Old Monroe was, a $50 bottle, but and there's not really a secondary for Old Monroe. But again, this is special, and you can't get it. You can't get it. So I don't know what's that worth to someone like that. So yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, the old 55 in this, you're talking you're halfway there to that $1,000 just those two. So yeah. All right, let's go back through it. Start at the beginning. So again, our first one is the Leopold. We're going to go back through just one more time, doing nosing and tasting notes. Again, just share, not call on anybody. So don't sit back and say, I hope he calls on me because I got a good one. It's just throwing it out there.
Seems like the mint is really coming through on this one now.
Mint, yeah.
It's just good shit.
Yeah.
It's just good shit.
Yeah, maybe on our tasting wheel, nosing our tasting notes has to be like Leopold 3-chamber rye. It's just special. It's good.
And I still have to using scales, Mr. Bill, like Cold Stone. I like it, love it, gotta have it.
Gotta have it.
Gotta have it. All right,
Steve. If you find me a bottle while you're out there, pick me up one, please.
Of Leopold 3-chamber.
Yeah.
I know where there's one bottle left. Jim keeps telling me he wants to buy it, and then he never does. So he can't pull the trigger on it. He's so
you want me to go buy it so you can't?
Yeah. All right, let's taste this one. Last time on tasting this one. Let's see. I mean, still incredibly flavorful. I'll tell you what. After drinking the higher proof ones, it almost feels like there's no proof. I mean, it's and again, 100 proof is nothing to sneeze at. You drink 100 proof, it's going to catch up to you pretty quick. But it just feels like it's so easy after the other ones. It drinks as easy as a soda or so yeah. It's like still flavorful. Still the flavor's there.
It was mint on the nose, but it was very fruity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So fruity, kind of like a Danish, because I do get from the baking aisle, baked goods too. So and even a little cinnamon with that. I guess that rye, giving that spice, gets a little cinnamon note. Anything else anybody wants to add for the record there before we move on? Okay, delicious offering. Let's put that aside. None of this will be wasted. I'm going to be drinking all of these tonight. These are all winners. All right. To Neely Family Distillery. Again, this is their high rye bourbon, gold winning at San Francisco.
I'm getting the buttercream, but also like a chocolate root beer float.
Chocolate root beer float. Okay.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay.
Actually, I can't see it. I can smell it.
You can smell it. Okay, fair enough. Thank you for qualifying.
I'm definitely getting more buttery notes now.
Buttery notes, yeah.
Buttercream
It was very, very light on the nose the first time we did it. It's definitely a little bit more there for sure. Second time going around.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it fills the palate a little bit more than the 3-chamber does.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, let's give this thing a taste and see what we think on the last taste here.
Did you say the proof on this before, Steve?
Yeah, it is 108.2. 108.2.
It's got a little bit of a nutty astringency to it.
Nutty astringency. Okay.
I'm getting a hint of Cocoa Krispies.
Cocoa Krispies. Yeah. All right. That's good.
I think it's got less oil on it, so it feels. I'm feeling more burn from this one than a lot of the other ones, just because you don't get that whole mouth coating.
The coating, yeah.
It's not. It doesn't drink hot, but with the as opposed to the others, it's just absolute, just coats your entire.
You
mouth.
got that. You got the layer of protection from the coating that you're getting. Yeah. So yeah, I get what you're saying totally. Yeah.
It's that root beer sassafras finish.
Yeah.
Little filet there, Jim. Little filet there, Jim.
There you go.
I like it.
Did you say this was the Night Rider?
Yeah. They name them in the gift shop, so they always give a name to them. So yeah, the Night Rider. I don't think they have this around. Again, they had
said 2 years old, right?
30 months, so 2 years.
No, it was from 2 years ago,
Oh,
right?
no, not this one. Not this one. That was the New Orleans Bourbon Festival one, was from 2 years ago.
Okay.
This one was released this year. So again, this is for the San Francisco. So
Well, I'm happy. I just realized I have a bottle of this. So
yeah, there you go. You got this one. So yeah. They released it after it won the award. And it was out there in the gift shop, and that happened to be when you called. I heard you've called more than once now, so you're kind of addicted at this point.
It's a good problem. Yes, I've called more.
Yes, yeah. So he's ordering. He's got the hookup now. So I even heard that Miss Becca Sue says call her direct. So yeah.
Yes.
That's what she told me. She's like, Jason just needs to call me now. So yeah. So you got a special insider deal. He's got the insider ABV Network deal. He talks to Miss Becca Sue. So also on our programs, by the way. So Bourbon Daily, or if you listen to Bourbon Daily, you hear me, and then either McNew or our Miss Becca Sue, and then occasionally Justine there fills in as well. So she's the third announcer.
A shout out for that. I actually listened to the podcast today when you talked to Royce's mom.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
That was a good one. I enjoyed that. So
yeah, that was good. Oh, she was so nervous. She was, we quit. We had a hard time getting moms on. We thought it was the greatest thing, and the shows were great, but the moms didn't want to come on because, again, what they're worried about is, I don't know bourbon. I don't know about the business. I mean, I love my son or daughter, but I don't know the business, and I don't want to say anything wrong that hurts their business. It's a mom thing, they don't want to hurt their child's adult child's business. And but we're not talking about how to make whiskey or anything like that. We're talking about what was it like? Did you see this in them growing up? Were they into the things that might be conducive to this? Your sciences and stuff like that. But we only did a couple, but they were good. They were
really good.
I like the mom interviews, but yeah. So, and then they would, like I said, they'd just be so nervous. You just feel bad for them beforehand. They'd be so nervous. So, all right, let's set that one aside, and we're going to go back to Hard Truth. Let's grab our Hard Truth.
Hard to go back to. There ain't much left.
All right.
Damn, that's good.
That is good on the nose, right? Yeah, I mean,
I'm almost getting kind of a champagne.
That's what I was going to say, like wine, but I get that. I get what you're saying, because it's definitely a little different. Yeah.
I'd have to say it's more like a beer, because I can't afford champagne.
Oh no! What about the champagne of beers, Miller? Life.
There you go.
High life.
Oh, this is just sparkling whiskey. It's not made in France.
Sparkling whiskey.
There you go.
All right, let's taste it. Here we go. Let's taste. Cheers.
We're just gonna see Hard Truth come out with the champagne of rye.
Well, it's not from Colorado, so they can't call it High Life.
Well, neither is Miller.
That's Milwaukee. Those are Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Well, High Life.
Miss it by that much.
Yeah.
No, High Life.
Other kind of high life.
Altitude high.
This is the Rye Life.
Yeah, sure.
The Rye Life. There you go.
I
like it. The Rye Life. Mm-hmm.
There you go, Brian. That's your next name for your bourbon, the Rye Life.
Top of Smokies.
I'm firing the marketing department.
Yeah. I tell you what, we're easily to buy ourselves. Just provide whiskey, and then we'll get together twice a week.
Great ideas.
Yeah. Amazing ideas.
More names. Pass the bottle around.
Bottle or two, I'm good to go.
Okay.
Top of Smokies.
Anything else on the Hard Truth Sweet Mash Rye?
I'm getting more of the classic kind of eucalyptus, lemongrass, herbal stuff this time around. Where before I was getting so much of the fruit sweet.
Fruit sweet, yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting sassafras.
Okay. All right, let's set this one aside. Let's set it aside.
Hey, Bryan, do y'all ship to Texas by chance?
You know what? I'm going to be in Houston at the end of next week. We launch in Texas next week.
He's in Houston, so yeah. There you go.
What
Look at this.
What liquor
Can you
store?
see that?
Terry
Oh
Black's.
yeah, yes sir.
Terry Black's Barbecue.
If you're in Houston,
Yeah, we're going to be.
Hey, Bryan, right?
If you're in Houston next week and you want some good barbecue,
So Andy and Jason are Houston guys, right? Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. Send them my email address, Steve. We'll get you hooked up. Actually, it's Bryan. If anybody wants to email, it's Bryan, Bryan at hardtruth.com. So we'll be launching into the Texas market next week, and Louisiana following that, Arkansas, and then Wisconsin and Michigan next month.
Nice.
Yeah.
What states are you already in? Georgia?
Oh, you know what? If you go to hardtruth.com, you can do our spirits finder, but we're in the, Illinois, Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, Missouri, Florida, then some of the northeastern states.
You said Illinois
really,
too. Yeah. Illinois.
Yes.
Illinois,
Oh yeah.
Nice.
It's good having a mule though.
A mule.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the Stumpy's Old Monroe. They're straight rye whiskey coming in at 119.6. Oh, 190 something would be.
Good Lord.
Yikes.
Not vodka.
My hat would blow off the top of my head.
It's a dry heat.
Yeah.
Eucalyptus.
Dry sauna heat.
It's so unique and interesting.
Yeah, still getting that oatmeal biscuit dough.
Yeah. Yep.
getting a lot more sweet on this second time around.
Okay.
Getting more of that spicy, like eucalyptus kind of.
Yeah. All right, let's give it a taste. Ooh, that'll get you in trouble.
Yeah.
Wowzers. That's easy drinking there, folks.
It's really good. I think this one so far seemed to have changed the least. Going back through the second time, it's hold up to the first notes pretty well.
Yeah.
It's funny because it's like it's spicy on the nose, but it's not that spicy when I'm drinking it. It's like it's like very smooth and buttery. It's like it's not. It doesn't drink like a rye.
Right.
Still grabs you by the boo boo.
Yes.
Yeah, that one to me, it is a little nutty on the nose, but on the palate, it's got like a lot of like Mike Tyson on an airplane. It's got, it packs a punch. I think it's just like an instant flavor. Once it hits,
You just slap that guy around a little. That's all.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's kind of the way this did though. It's but it's quick, it's quick, and then and it doesn't linger a lot, but it has a punch.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, and that guy on that airplane, he deserved that, by the way. Whatever he got exactly what he deserved. So
you can't poke that bear.
Yeah, he kept doing it.
I have never been messed with Mike Tyson drunk.
No, he just kept going too. He had so many opportunities not to stop, and he just keeps going.
You could have just asked for his autograph. You didn't have to leave it on your face. You could have just asked.
Yeah.
He might have even been asking, "Hey, dude, can you punch me in the face a couple times?"
Yeah, probably.
For him, it might have been better than an autograph.
Yeah. All right, let's set that one aside and go to last but not least is the old 55 sweet corn. And our cast strength, 100% sweet corn.
Steve, this is cotton candy on the nose.
Cotton candy on the nose, yeah.
Much sweeter.
Wow.
Yeah.
It got so much. It was sweet to begin with. It got so much sweeter.
Yes.
Yeah.
The most interesting thing for me on this one is we did tasting. Several of us were in it a little while ago with Iron Root, and I'm getting some of those Texas kind of what heat sweet notes you would get from that, but it obviously can't be from the heat,
right?
But you're still getting into that kind of molassesy, burn sugar, thick, sweet.
Yeah, interesting.
I got to tell you, I'm not normally a fan of 100% corn. I've shied away from a lot of them after having a couple that I did not like.
Yeah, but you're okay with this one.
Oh, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
This is impossible not to love.
Mellow corn changed my mind on corn.
Okay, there you go.
The mellow corn's like the artificial butter on popcorn, and like this is the real butter.
This is the real.
This is fancy movie theater.
Mellow corn is the Jelly Belly buttered popcorn, and this is the real deal.
Yeah, true. Yeah, this is the real butter popcorn, like you're like your mom can make it. Then you're trying to make it yourself, and it's never the same. I don't know. Yeah, it's just
can't do this shit in the microwave.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. For sure. So Jason had me get this. I was so nervous. This is an expensive bottle to ship. What if they would have broke? I would have just quit talking to Jason. That's what would have happened. He'd have never heard from me again if that would have broken transit. Ooh.
Well, you got me.
They get lost in Ohio.
Yeah. Justine and I had that happen for an event, that cowboy bourbon from Garrison Brothers, which is expensive. 2 bottles lost in Ohio. So
we had a case go missing
on the way. Yeah. To the credit of Garrison Brothers, they didn't question it. They just sent 2 more, and I thought that was a true class act. I thought for sure they lose 2 of those bottles. And again, you could follow it on tracking. It wasn't anything we did. It never made it to us. You could see where it stopped in Ohio. And it never did show up after that. Sometimes you get things after with the USPS, you'll get it 6 months later. That never did show up, unless Justine just kept it. I don't know. Maybe the cowboy showed. Yeah, Justine's very cute.
She's holding out.
Yeah, I was going to say, you let Justine over that one, Steve?
Yeah, oddly,
she's too good. I ain't sharing.
So I asked her. No, never shut up, boss. No.
Yeah. Pretty certain those were consumed.
Never saw it.
Yeah. All right.
That shows you how good those X-ray machines really are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Any final notes on the old 55 here?
I think what today told us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That Lenny stick.
Craft as fuck. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
It's candy.
As Lenny would say, our good buddy Lenny. Yeah. Craft as fuck. All right. I'll give you guys just a minute or so. Again, your job is to go through and tell us what you like. So be thinking about that, work on that, taste side by side, whatever you need to do. You're only telling us what your favorite is. I'll go one by one, just for dramatic effect. Go one by one here.
So not a ranking, just our favorite.
Just your favorite, not ranking them, just your absolute favorite. And we'll see who wins the night.
Did rank them.
We're not going to ask Bryan what his favorite is. So we're gonna refrain from asking him.
That might be an interesting answer.
I think you should.
I don't think
it's
so.
not Jason Fruits.
Well, hey, we'll get Bryan's favorite after we turn the cameras off.
Mm-hmm. There you go. That's fair. You can do it that, but yeah, not on record. Yeah, of course, his favorite has to be his when we're recording, and it probably is anyway. There's nothing wrong with that. But,
no, honestly, Steve, you're. I'm telling you what, man, you knocked it out of the park. Every single one of these is delicious. I really am impressed. And there are a couple in here that I have not tried yet, and I really do love Jason Fruits. Whiskey. For the record, he's a great dude too.
He is a great dude. You can't help but love what he's got going on, and just a good person. So, yes.
Is he a tall dude?
He's tall. Yeah. He's a big guy like me. So tall, big. Yeah, probably about my size overall. No. So, all right. With that, it is time to vote. I'm going to go through on the order you are on my screen. This doesn't necessarily coincide with how it is on your screen, but so please don't think that I've skipped you. I'm going to go in the order and we'll get to everyone. Jim, you're going to be first. You're number 1 on my screen. What's your favorite of the evening?
Old 55.
Old 55. Okay.
It shocked the heck out of me because I'm not a pure corn guy. And
right. And look at that. Snuck up on you. All right, Steve, how about you?
Let's see. I'm gonna go with gosh, it is so hard, man. These
It's
are
not
so
easy.
delicious, but it's for me, it's Leopold.
Leopold, okay.
And I know Greg had to bail a little early, but he texted me with a vote.
Okay.
He said his vote was for Stumpy.
Okay.
Even though it was tough between that and that old 55, but he's going
Nice.
Stumpy with Greg's vote.
I didn't put in any losers in here. I didn't be like, oh, here's one that just it's a toss. I put in all the legit good stuff. All right,
Just
Mike.
no ginger.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't usually drink any of these again.
Yeah. Oh
No
yeah.
question.
Mr. Gascamp, what are you voting for?
And you're gonna pin me down to it. And if you have to nail my feet to the floor, I'm stuck between Hard Truth and Old 55. But I'm gonna lean Old 55. Just
Old
for the
55. Okay, Old 55. Fair enough.
Sorry,
All right.
Brian.
We'll jump down to, and again, you're talking about two totally different price points too. So, that being said, but again, tonight they're all just even, and we're just voting for our favorite. So that price doesn't factor in, but in real life, price factors in, and you might have a different choice if you got to pick between them. So nothing wrong with that.
I'd like
No
to note
apologies.
that Brian turned his camera off, so you can't see him flipping you off.
Right now he's got the double bird going.
To vote for somebody else.
Double birds.
As the administrator, I could see, even when you turn the camera off, I could still see it. He's giving the double bird right now to Mike. I'm kidding. You can't.
Add it to the check. I got it right already. What the hell?
Add it to the tab.
All right, Mr. Whitlatch, what's your thoughts?
Old 55 sweet corn.
Old 55 sweet corn. Okay, another convert. All right, Mr. Vansquake.
I'm gonna go Stumpy's Old Monroe Rye.
Stumpy's Old Monroe. All right, excellent. All right, we'll go to Dave, and I don't know that you're a junior, but just to call between the two, younger Dave, son Dave.
Yeah. I was split decision between Hard Truth and the Old 55, but I feel like the Old 55 was like cared for as if it was a baby, like from the get-go. Like you can taste almost that it was gently dumped out of the barrel. And like,
they didn't want to bruise the whiskey. Yeah.
No, you can.
Yeah.
But like it just had that extra little love to it. I don't know.
Okay. Old 55, another one.
Hand funneled. Yeah.
Hand funneled. Yeah. All right, Dave. How about you?
Going with the Hard Truth.
Hard Truth. I was on the board. All right. Excellent.
Keep going drinking.
All right. Blaine, how about you?
I'm really having a hard time. Can you send 5 more samples next week and I'll email you?
Yeah, mine were lost in Ohio.
Lost in Ohio. Yeah. We make we request all of our mail goes around Ohio now because of that incident.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna have to stick with the fruit strike gum and go with the Hard Truth.
Hard Truth. All right. Hard Truth is making a run now. They're on a roll here. All right. Next up is Andy.
So I'm right with a lot of other folks where I'm Hard Truth and Old 55, but I'm gonna have to go Old 55. That's pretty good.
55. Okay.
That's pretty good.
Fair enough. Mr. Bill.
Can I give you 2?
No, you can't.
I'm going to give you 1 and 2.
Okay.
So my number 1 is Leopold Brothers, and my number 2 is Hard Truth, but it's a strong number 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. Kathy.
Man.
Kathy's still trying to figure out. She's
No.
yeah.
I'm loving bottle and bonds right now, so I'm going Leopold Brothers.
Leopold. All right.
Ask me
Leopold.
tomorrow, I'd probably vote for something different.
Fair enough. All right.
The fact that you still had something left to smell or taste was impressive.
Yeah. Hey, Avery, how about you?
Old 55.
Old 55, another vote. All right. Next up is Casey.
All right, so I signed up for the Stumpies. I stayed for the Hard Truth, but I gotta say, Old 55 is
Old
amazing.
55 is tough. Yeah. Old 55. It's special for sure. Justine.
So they're all fantastic, but just going by empty glasses, and I'm only saying this because my Old 55 sample was not 100% full. It was only like.
She's part of my staff.
Just one for the team.
Again, that's behind the scenes stuff she shouldn't be talking about. It's a 700 milliliter bottle. All our 750s. This is, of course, made by Glencairn. It is the European 700 milliliter. So I had to cut a couple. Again, it's a sellout. I had a couple of samples short. That would be Justine and I. Yes. So it was Justine was. Right. You guys all got full samples. Justine and I had to make up
shenanigans.
For those. Yeah.
Shenanigans.
Yeah. We had
shenanigans.
Steve.
Right.
But if I were going by full samples, my hard truth glass is empty.
Okay, hard truth. Okay, fair enough. All right. Interesting. All right, next up is Jason.
So I realized that so I've got 3 empty glasses.
Okay.
But I also realized that I've now signed up for, this is my 5th tasting with Leopold Brothers, just so I can keep drinking that and not open my bottle. I just keep drinking other people's. So I'm going to go Leopold Brothers.
Leopold, okay. All right, fair enough. All right, Dave.
Hard truth.
Hard truth, okay. All right, this is close. There's 3 that are in contention still. They're still in contention here. Jason Wickel.
I was fortunate enough that I had tried Old 55 before coming into this, and I thought it was going to be close. But Hard Truth gave a good run, but I'm going to have to go Old 55. I mean, that's just
Old 55. Okay. All right. Caroline.
I would say definitely Old 55 is my number 1, but Hard Truth is really close.
Really close. Okay. All right. And last but not least, I don't think I missed anybody. David.
I'm going to choose all 5.
Wait, is that an option?
That's not an option. No. I chose all 5. I got to do that because I presented my favorite 5.
You're running for mayor, aren't you? I get it.
No, I'm going to go with the Old 55.
Old 55. Okay.
Yes. Yep.
I didn't miss anybody.
Very good.
All very good.
Oh, so good. Yes.
You did an excellent job with selections.
Thank you very much.
Wrong with any of them.
Yeah, and it's tough for our distillers because everybody wants to win, and but this is just as tough a competition as you'll ever see. So yeah. So in the end, we had a 2-way tie for second place. With Hard Truth and Leopold Brothers, but our champion for the night was Old 55. 10 votes, Old 55 versus 4 and 4 for Leopold and Hard Truth, and Old Monroe came up with 2 votes as well. But again, tough competition. They're all winners. Let's hear a round of applause for all our distillers tonight for providing us great whiskey. And I would recommend any one of these. You get any one of these, it's a winner. You're not like, oh wow, yeah. There's no such thing as the 5th ranked one. They're all good. And you know what? If we did this another night, things might be just different. Just a different day because they're all that good. Where any of them could have won this thing. So that's
Bryan's camera came on, and for a second, and I saw him flipping double birds.
He was doing it where it goes up in the air like that and stuff. Yeah.
I'm cutting letters out of newsprint to send a letter to sorry guys, I've been a little busy.
I've never had any of these 5 bottles, Steve. So this to me is like this is these 5. I've never had any of these before. So this was, and then they were all really good. I would definitely drink any bottle that you presented me of these 5. I would drink it happily.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Good news is I have 2 of the bottles, so that's fantastic.
Yeah. So there you go. So yes.
I mean, one of them is Hard Truth.
Hard Truth, yeah.
So I'll say we've never had. Sorry.
Go ahead, Caroline. Yeah.
I was going to say we've never had any of the 5, and unfortunately, I have a feeling we can't get any of the 5. So it.
Where do you guys live again? So where do you
North
live?
Carolina.
North Carolina, yeah, North Carolina.
State controlled.
It's state controlled. That's a tough one for sure.
Yeah.
You need a mule.
You need a mule.
Yes, we do.
Or you get in the car.
Wow. Or get in the
You're
car.
not far from South Carolina, but I'm not sure there's many of them down there.
Yeah.
Kentucky.
Yeah.
Have someone mail it to you.
Shoot over to Kentucky.
We'll talk off camera.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not going to admit to nothing on camera.
Right. I agree.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Bill, I would never mail anything. What do you?
I was gonna say though, this was the best birthday present. So this is my birthday present.
Oh, nice. Happy
Amazing.
birthday. Yeah.
When was
Okay.
your birthday?
I'm sorry.
When was your birthday?
It was actually the 7th.
Okay.
Well,
again,
I'm the
still
11th,
happy.
That's why I asked.
Happy
'cause
belated
I'm
birthday.
This month
Yeah.
also.
Yeah.
27. A birthday twin. I love it.
There you go. Yeah. Well, Carolyn and David, you give good gifts. I'll tell you what.
Yeah,
The gift of the
exactly.
ABV Network events. That's good stuff. So yeah.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, again, I'll say goodbye. I stick around and just talk. We're friends and we talk whiskey and stuff like that. But of course, we do have the at-home audience, people that are watching this and checking out the tasting and stuff like that. And that part of it is over. So thanks for tuning in and appreciate you being part of this and a great event. And thanks to Bryan Smith for coming on with us as we talk about the Great Whiskey Night and playing along the whole time, drinking with us and tasting them. That was really cool. So thanks a lot, everyone. Take care. Bye.
Thanks, everybody.